So you're shopping for a small, affordable crossover. You've done your research, hopefully landing upon my review of the excellent new Chevy Trax, and said to yourself, you know, I don't normally agree with Steve's opinion, but guess what? This time I'm taking the old man's advice and I'm going with the Chevy. But then you heard mumblings that Buick is selling essentially the same car but with greater curb appeal. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, is it worth the extra money? Well, today I'm here to help you sort all of that out. So this is the top-of-the-line Buick Envista Avenir, which trim-wise is comparable to the Trax 2RS and Active. Now the price difference between the Buick and the Chevy when fully loaded is $4,350. Now just so you know, both are imported from Korea, share the same turbocharged 3-cylinder engine and 6-speed transmission, and at least from the outside are dimensionally identical. So what exactly are you getting for spending that extra cash? Well, for one, you get this more upscale and elegant Buick-rich styling. It's easily the biggest differentiator between the Envista and the Trax. And as you can see, GM has done a really fine job of masking these two vehicles' commonalities by wrapping the Buick in a distinguished look of luxury. Now, mechanically speaking, the Envista and the Trax are nearly identical. But there is one added component to the rear suspension here that is intended to ratchet up handling a notch without adversely affecting ride quality. It's called a Watts linkage, and the Trax doesn't have it. Now, I can't honestly tell you that I've noticed the difference between the two vehicles without driving them back to back, but it is indeed there. The rear seat of both cars offers up just about the same amount of passenger space, which is to say very generously sized, especially with this totally flat floor. But only in the Buick will you be treated to the opulence that is a folding center armrest with cup holders. Now that, my friends, is living. Now, if you hate having to grab the tailgate to open or close it, and don't wish to exert any more physical energy than is absolutely necessary, it's good to know that the Envista comes with a power-operated one, and that is not so on the Trax. Prefer leather over pleather? Well, Buick goes all in on the real cowhides here, and that is not an option on the Trax. And I know you're familiar with OnStar, right? That little blue button up there? That's the telematics suite of safety and security features. Now with the Trax, you only get that on a 30-day trial. After that, you would have to pay for it, whereas here in the Buick, it is included for 3 full years. And both vehicles do use active noise cancellation to keep the sound down in here, but only the Envista includes Buick's signature quiet tuning process for even more sound deadening. And lastly, and for some of you perhaps most important, the sloping rear design of the Envista means that the cargo room has been compromised. How much, you ask? Well, with these rear seats folded, as much as almost 30%. So that is definitely something to ponder. At $31,285, this Envista Avenir carries a $4,350 price premium over a similarly spec'd Trax. And remember, neither of them offers all-wheel drive. Now, is it worth it? I suppose that's a reasonable escalation in price for all of these added tidbits and, of course, the Buick styling, though I still wish that Buick had gone just a little bit farther to advance this model, perhaps adding Super Cruise or something like that to give it a little more cachet. But it's no doubt a looker, and it will captivate an audience with its attainable price point and its excellent driving demeanor. For Drive Time, I'm Steve Hammes.